According to the Association of Poultry Farmers, 35% of people living in Melbourne purchase free-range eggs. If a random sample of 100 people living in Melbourne is surveyed, what is the probability that the sample proportion of people who purchase free-range eggs will be less than 0.28? So p hat is going to be normally distributed. We have 0.35 as the middle, and there's 100 people, so the variance is 0.35 multiplied by 1 take away 0.35, which is 0.65, divided by 100. Now that means that the standard deviation will be the square root of, I seem to have got two square roots there, let's just, so the square root of 0.35 times 0.65 divided by 100, and that gives me so standard deviation is 0.047697. And then we're after the probability that p hat is less than 0.28. And because it's continuous, it doesn't matter whether that's less than or equal to. So we can go for a normal CDF. And the lower there, I'm going to set that to negative infinity. Remember, it's a normal distribution. The template disappeared. Let's go back here, normal CDF. Okay, so we're going to go negative infinity. Could just use any low number there. And 0.28. By that I mean anything substantially below 0.28. And the sigma is 0.047697. And we know that the mu is 0.35. And that gives me 0.0711. Okay, so let's move to the next part of the question. A market research company wants to know whether the proportion P of people living in Perth who purchase free-range eggs is similar to that of Melbourne. A junior employee proposes that it gather a sample of shoppers by standing outside a particular shop between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning and asking all shoppers entering the shop if they purchase free-range eggs. Identify and explain two sources of bias in the proposed sampling method. Well, particular shop means one location, and that has all sorts of socio-economic factors and so on that might play a part, and just one single time period as well. Not only that, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. means most working people won't be surveyed. So one location, one time period. Both of those are problems. So the company does not follow the suggestion of the junior employee and instead randomly samples 243 people living in Perth and asks them whether they purchase free-range eggs. On the basis of the results of their survey, a confidence interval for P is calculated as shown here. Determine the number of people in the sample who purchase free-range eggs. So we need to know the proportion, the middle of this interval. So we can just average that, 0.2520 plus 0.3488 and divide that by 2. So we've got 0.2520. We'll add that to 0.3488 and then just divide that answer by 2. Gives us 0.3004. So that's the proportion that answered in the survey, and we want to know what that proportion of 243 people is. So we'll just multiply that last answer by 243, and that gives us 72.9972. So 72.9972, and you should always give that to a whole number of people. So we'll say 73 people. Finally, we want to determine the level of confidence that was used to calculate the confidence interval. So we know that the middle of the interval was this, and let's just take this value. So the error, the standard error, is going to be 0.3004, take away 0.2520. So we can calculate that, 0.3004, take away 0.2520. That gives us 0.0484. Okay, what else do we know? Well, perhaps the thing to do is go and look at the E activity for this, and just need to be in the right one. So what do we want? Methods 3, 4. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, and I think the sample n for confidence interval will do nicely here. And so we can state the formula. N is z squared, p 1 minus p divided by p squared. And we have 243 as our n. Z squared is what we're trying to find if we want the confidence level. The p is 0.3004. And we want to multiply that by 1 take away 0.3004 divided by 0.0484 squared. And I've probably shown enough working now to make sure I get the 3 marks, so I'm just going to put everything in the E activity. So let's get the calculator back, and we have n is 2, 4, 3. We're trying to find z here. Our p is 0.3004 and e is 0.0484, and we'll solve that for z. So z is equal to 1.6457 ... And if we click OK, that value should go in and should be in here. Z score. We want the confidence level, press solve, and essentially it's giving us 90%.